in there and what they like, but coffee's a big part, definitely. We travel with a coffee machine everywhere we go. The first thing we do, go in the team room, the coffee line's bigger than any other line you've seen in the morning before a game, so you gotta time your runs in the coffee machine. But yeah, I think it's something that all Australians love. We like to think we have the best coffee in the world, and I reckon we do. I mean, first of all, I think it's great for the game. I think T20 cricket's opened up such an avenue for different countries around the world to play the game, and I don't think that would have existed without T20 cricket. This is why I love T20 cricket. It introduces a part of, the community that probably wouldn't watch it. I mean, I've seen more girls and mothers involved in cricket in the last 10 years because of T20 cricket than I had before recently. So it brings, lots of different people in from all parts of the world, including Afghanistan. You never thought USA would make Super 8s, and here they are. What a great story that is. But Afghanistan, a very strong team. I think people underestimate them. We've seen it time and time again. They probably should have won against us in the last World Cup too, when we won the ODI. We dropped Glenn Maxwell a couple of times there, and Afghanistan did. So it wasn't a surprise to me. I mean, it's a big game for us. I think Afghanistan still lose against Bangladesh. We're still a chance, but you don't want to leave things to fate. We need to beat India. They're the best team in the world, pretty much. It's us. We're the top two teams in the world. Let's put it this way, 1v2. We made it tougher on ourselves, but when the pressure's on, Australia in World Cup situations have usually come on top. But T20 cricket against India, it's going to be a game you don't want to miss, because it's going to be very interesting. I mean, knowing Mitchie and knowing Andrew McDonald and how things are done, I think it's going to be still process-driven. I mean, it's really hard. It's a do-or-die game. So it's a very human thing to be a little bit more nervous, a little bit more anxious. But they can't really go reinventing the wheel. Australia have played some really good T20 cricket up until now. I mean, up until Afghanistan, we were pretty much cruising. But that's the beauty of T20 cricket. It takes one player to win your game. That's all it takes. And it can be both. When you play against India, they have plenty of players who can win games, and we have plenty of players who can win games too. So I think for Australia, it's still about forgetting about what that happened against Afghanistan and then just moving on. This is a brand new game. 100%. It takes one good catch. I've seen it time and time again. It takes one good fielding effort in the field, and the whole momentum of the game changes. It was similar to Australia in the World Cup, the last World Cup we won. We started off that World Cup and we dropped a few easy catches. Things weren't going our way. I think it was Davey took a really good catch against Pakistan in one of the round games, and that just turned the tide for everything, because there was a lot of pressure in Australia about fielding back then too. And then we went on to win the World Cup. So fielding is always an attitude thing. Australia always has a very good attitude towards fielding. Sometimes you just drop catches. It's cricket. It's a tough game. I mean, I got along with Steve Smith really well. I'm good mates with him. I've known him since we were 14 years old. So no issue with me. I've always enjoyed batting with Steve Smith. Whether it's the best combination for the team, I'm not really sure. It'll be an interesting question going up. Obviously, there's still a lot of time between now. There's still a World Cup to win for us. But I think it's like 4 or 5 months or 4 months before the first test match. I mean, it'd be silly not to have the conversations of what our best six looks like in terms of what order, but obviously I'm not really involved in those conversations. So, I mean, I can have my opinion, but at the end of the day, whatever happens, it'll be whatever's best for the team, which has always been the case. My opinion, I don't expect the Australian team to change too much for the series. It's been a pretty similar team for the last 2 years, other than Davey going out. The top six is pretty settled at the moment. The bowlers are pretty settled at the moment. It'll just be about, in terms of what the selectors and the coach and the captain think, the best makeup of the team is, which is always the case. Every game we play, the conversation's had, who do we pick? Do we need this bowler? Do we need, the batsmen usually stay the same, but the conversation is always there. What's the best team for this venue? It normally doesn't change too much in Australia, because I think everyone knows how to play in all the different conditions, but it's always a part of the game that everyone will talk about. I honestly just think it's just luck sometimes. Like, Paddy's the best bowler in the world, don't get me wrong. It's not luck that he's the best bowler in the world. But he said it himself. He's played 100 games and never taken a hat trick, and then he gets 2 in 2 games. It's just what happens sometimes. I think T20 cricket, there's a lot more hat tricks in T20 cricket than any other format because people are all they're worried about batsmen are just score runs as quickly as they can. Particularly if you're bowling at the end, you either get smashed or you get lots of wickets. So. Yeah, it's very odd to see 2 in a row though. I mean, I'd love to see Australia there. I'm going to say Australia because I'm biased. Australia, India, England, obviously. I think South Africa's always looked strong too, but I think I'm worried about England more than anyone. I think the way they started the tournament, struggled a little bit, almost out. I've seen this play before. Australia did this 2 World Cups ago and we won. I saw Pakistan do it in the last T20 World Cup. They should have been out. They somehow snuck in and they made the finals. So I'm worried about England. They just had to reduce the run rate? Is that
in the end, they had to lose. They were about to lose.
They had to lose. It's a tough one. No, I don't think it's hard. As a competitor, it's hard for me to ever lose a game. So, no, I think that's very tough to do. I think a lot of the time that does help. It's not the... But Australian cricket teams shown in the past that that's not the only way to win. I think in 2007 we didn't lose a game, the ODI World Cup, and it just absolutely demolished every team there. And I can't remember. I'm pretty sure we didn't, but no, there's no set guarantees. I mean, with the Scotland and English scenario, I think at the end of the day, as much as there's gameship involved and you probably wouldn't want to face England in the next round, there's a part of your competitive spirit that